Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So, as always, I'm starting with an eye base. I have actually run out of my eye primer, so I'm just going in with my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer just to neutralise any discoloration and to help prep my eyes for any eyeshadow. And I'm just blending that in with my beauty blender or sponge, whatever you want to call it. And remember to always set that with a powder, as this will just make sure your next eyeshadow will just blend as smooth as possible. I really like using this one from the SHAANXO palette. It's really smooth, it's just really pigmented, so I just pat that all over my lid. And I also use that slightly kind of yellowy mustard shade just to add a little bit of warmth to my eye, but it's not quite as orange as what I normally go in with. But yeah, I just pop that through the crease quickly. And then I firstly go in with Creme Brulee by Makeup Geek on a, I want to say this is a, yeah, Zoeva brush. I just saw it there. It's nice and fluffy, so it really sort of diffuses the product really evenly, as I just want a wash of colour. And then I just keep on dipping my brush back in just until I'm happy with the intensity. There's no really like rules to this, I just put it through the natural crease of my eye. So to then deepen it up even more and add more depth, I'm using a slightly smaller fluffy brush. Again, I think this might be a MAC 217. I'm using that with Saddle, also by MAC. And yeah, this look is really easy. All I'm doing is, you can see I'm popping it in my crease using circular motions back and forth throughout my crease, and just keep on doing that until you're happy with the intensity. And I just wanted a little bit more depth, so I went in with a slightly smaller brush. This is actually a really old 217, so it's a little bit thinner, so it just fits in that area that little bit more, and it just adds a bit more of a specific application. So just keep on adding until you're happy with the intensity. It's completely up to you with how dark you want it. I didn't want to go too dark because we are going for a red lip. So I wanted to try something a little bit different today, so I started to create a cut crease. So using that same MAC Pro Longwear concealer and a MAC 242 brush, I'm using that and almost carving out my crease. So when I say that, I mean I'm following the shape of my crease. So I'm using that brush to create a very sharp line all the way across my crease. And just be very careful with this. Pull your eye slightly taut so you can, really get into that area and make it look nice and sharp, and just keep going over it until you're happy with how it looks. But it's really easy. This is the easiest way to do a cut crease. Just apply your eyeshadow in the crease like you normally would, and then just use your brush and your creamy concealer and just basically carve it out. So I wanted to add a bit more sparkle, so I went with In the Spotlight by Makeup Geek, and I applied this just over the top of that concealer. So I'm sorry, I'm really out of shot for a lot of this, but all I do is I create a just normal wing. You can create a really dramatic one, a really thick, long dramatic wing. It's completely up to you, but I just wanted to add a little bit of definition and a slight wing on the outer corner. But it's completely up to you whether you want to do this step. But I just make a slight line outwards, and then from the top of that line I bring it inwards, if that makes sense. So apply lashes and a mascara. Do what you normally feel comfortable with. I just feel like lashes really complete the look. I think these ones are Eyelaw or Demi Wispies. I'll link them down below. So I just wanted to go over my foundation a little bit and just add a bit more coverage. This one is the All Nighter by Urban Decay. I do love it, but I feel like it does break me out, so I literally only use it for videos and then I take off straight away, because I found every time I use it I've got really like bad under the skin spots. But yeah, we'll see. I'm going to keep trying it and see what happens. So I'm just going in with my concealer now, and I'm going a little bit lighter to highlight and to also add coverage. This is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. It's got amazing coverage. As the name suggests, it's really creamy. And then I also like to go in with my MAC Mineralized Concealer, which is a little bit more hydrating, just to again highlight on the high points of my face. But as I always say, just do your usual foundation routine, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I always even out the highlight in other areas of my face so it doesn't look too like stark white underneath my eyes. And remember, you always want to set that with a powder just to ensure it doesn't move throughout the day, and make sure you use patting motions when you add your powder so you don't disturb any of the concealer and foundation. Powder I'm using is the new MAC, what's it called? Studio Fix Perfecting Powder. And just to balance out the under eye, I'm just adding the same shades as I used in the crease, just on a pencil brush to add a little bit of depth and make it look that little bit more smoky. I didn't want anything too harsh or too heavy under there, but obviously that's completely up to you. You can keep it completely blank. That looks really, really nice with just a wing, but I look weird with nothing underneath there. And I just use a small definer brush just to add a bit more depth right in my lower lash line. And we can't forget bronzer and contour. I just feel like this really completes your skin, just adds a little bit of depth, and I find when you're using a red lip it can wash you out, so just make sure you really warm up the skin as well. And you can always use blush to add a little bit of colour. And I love this step as I feel like it really completes the whole eye look and your sort of eyebrows as well. So I use MAC Nylon on my brow bone and just sort of blend it down into my eyeshadow so it looks nice and seamless. And I also use that on the inner corner of my eye as well. So I felt like because my eyes were quite cool tone, I wanted to use MAC Soft and Gentle as it's a really nice sort of champagne cool tone highlighter, but then I couldn't resist using my MAC Whisper of Guilt as well to add a little bit more of a gold tone to my cheeks as well. As I was using a red lip, I feel like gold highlighter and a red lip goes really well together. So yeah, I just mixed the two together, but that's totally up to you. So for lips you can go with a nude, but as it's Christmas I thought I would go in with Feel So Grand by MAC. This is one of their liquid lip colours. I absolutely love the applicator on this. You can get such like a defined edge with it. As you can see, I'm just using that to really sharpen out the edge and also overdraw my lip as well. So yeah, that is basically it. I can't talk. That is basically it, guys. All I do now is just spray a little bit Fix Plus to hydrate my skin, and that is it. I really hope you have a really Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and you'll see me in my next one. Bye! I hate that I remember. I wish I could forget what you did last